All right, so I'm here with my homie Eric from Drive Protected Shop. Recruited him to get some help with wrapping the Model 3 in PPF. So as you know, we've wrapped all of our cars in PPF. I've wrapped the entire Model Y, and I'm trying to remember exactly how much I spent, but I saved more than half on the best quote that I got on doing PPF by doing it myself. Now, you don't have to do it yourself, and it is time consuming, but you can save thousands of bucks and protect the car. Now, I highly recommend at least wrapping the front of the car, and that way the area that gets most of the impact is going to be protected. So even just doing the front is definitely worth it. But Drive Protected Shop, code BTG, you'll save 20%. You can do this yourself, and I'm going to show you, and I've got a partner to help me this time. Yeah. It's too bad he wasn't here the first time I did it, but nonetheless, let's take a look at what we have in front of us, because today we're going to wrap the entire car. I don't know how much time it's going to take, but
it's going to take a bit.
It's going to take a bit.
Get it done.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the product that we got and get into this project.
Okay, so we got our paint protection film package here. So we got enough to do the whole vehicle. So we got each panel individually wrapped. So we got our right rear door here. We got our driver door. We have our rear hatch. We got the passenger side doors. We got the hood fender mirror right here as well too. One thing you're gonna get in all of our orders is we send along installation diagrams. That way you can reference this while you're doing your installation to make sure that you're doing it properly. We also send along a QR code, which when you scan this with your phone, it'll take you to our YouTube channel with all of our Tesla videos on there. We have videos on how to install every single panel on a Tesla, on a Model 3, on a Model Y. A lot of it can be referenced with the Model S and the Model X as well too, as they're still quite similar as to how they're installed. This right here, I highly recommend you scan this, you watch these videos before you get yourself into your installation. That way you know kind of what you're getting yourself into. You also get your slip solution bottle, your tack solution bottle, and then we've got a squeegee somewhere down here as well too. I think it's at the very bottom of the box. But when you order a kit from us, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get all the film to do your installation. You're gonna get the slip solution, tack solution bottles, instructions how to fill them. We don't send them pre-filled. When you're doing a full wrap like this, you're gonna have to refill these bottles 3 or 4 times. And another thing, we are professional installers. We install this stuff for a living. And if you, at any time you have a question about your PPF kit, if you're doing your installation, something's not going right, you just pick up the phone. One of us will answer, and we'll help you out so you can drive protected. So
while I'm even still acclimating to the Florida heat, I know my Canadian friend is definitely going to be feeling it today. So
it's hot.
It's hot.
It's relatively same temperature in Canada as it is here, except we don't have the humidity. So yeah, I'm not going to look very good on this.
Yeah, it's hot in Florida. But the good thing is, while you're getting yourself messy with all the slip solution and stuff, you won't be able to tell because you'll be sweaty. So we're going to wrap this car as quickly as we can to try to beat some of this heat, and there is not a draft in here. And that's another thing to keep in mind. You don't run a fan or something like that because you're just going to blow dust on the car underneath the film you're putting on, so don't do that. So
what if you have air conditioning in your garage? Shut the door and use that to your advantage. This installation will be much, much easier and much more enjoyable.
Remember how he said he was a professional? It's because he's got AC in his shop. So let's get it done. All right, so we're about to mix the solution, and the nice thing is, I was just looking at the bottles, so you don't ever have to remember it's on the bottle. So 1.5 of Johnson to the rest of this in water. And what I usually do is I just put a little squirt in there. I don't really measure, but you'll see, do not shake this once you put that soap in there. Just kind of swirl it around like this. You don't want to shake it up like that. And then the alcohol, it's right here, a 70-30 ratio of isopropyl alcohol. You can use 90 or 70%. I think I've used 70 in the past, but we actually have 90 this time. So we're gonna make sure we don't overdo this one, because as Eric just reminded me, if you overdo the alcohol, you can burn off the adhesive on the film. Yeah. So make sure you got distilled water. Also, what's worked for me in the past is filtered water out of the refrigerator. So I don't know if that's technically supposed to be the case, but yeah, I've got a whole thing of distilled water here. just give you an idea. Can't really see what that number is, but you can see it.
About 25%.
About 25%.
Given how hot it is here, we can get away with a little bit less alcohol.
All right, now we're full on the alcohol or the tack solution. So now, get our Johnson baby shampoo is going to go in here. We're gonna basically fill this bottle completely up with water because there's so little of the Johnson's baby shampoo that we end up putting in here. All right, and then you can see it's just really a squirt of this Johnson's baby shampoo, and that's it. So there is an actual measurement, but that's about right. One of the things I missed in the past that's actually very important is you actually need to, behind all the panels, you've already cleaned the hood, but this section under here is where the film is gonna wrap. So it needs to be clean. So take the time to wipe down all doors, the hoods, all that stuff right in there. And even here in the wheel wells as well, under here, because that film does kind of wrap around there. And if it's dirty, it won't stick. And if I still had my Black 3, I'd show you what that looks like, because I didn't realize that at first. Very important step. All right, a little bit of a sit rep for you. So front of the car is done now. And what we've been doing is waiting for things to dry. And this time, I learned a couple of tricks that I'm gonna show you. So first, if you watched in that video, we laid the hood down and the fold over, we just kind of left there. And we left it there till we did the entire front of the car. But when I went to push this down, it just went down so great. And you can see I've only got a couple of really small fingers from folding this over. It actually went down really nice. So I recommend with the edges, even here, just leave them there until you finish the front end, and then you can kind of work your way down like this until you get it over. And that worked really, really well. So what you can see with what's left, so you'll see some bubbles like here and here. There's a few of them that we've got to get rid of, and we'll do that with a needle later. And the nice thing is it'll be a small little bubble that will pop and get that moisture out, and you'll never see it. But everything is laying down really, really nice. I got another bubble there but on the front of this bumper, I want to show you what we're working on now. So we laid this piece down, and obviously, we had a bunch of material that went over into the plastic here. And what Eric was just doing is trimming. So just a small trim knife, which you can see one right here, one of these little guys. So use that and run it across that little gap there to trim the excess material off.
And that's only necessary if you accidentally overstretch the film in that area. If you don't overstretch the film in that area, you won't end up having to do that. So that's not normal.
And then over here, you can see we got these lined up really well. And what we're waiting for is we're gonna trim some of this extra here. And as Eric just said, we had a little bit of extra stretch in some of these areas, but I think it looks really, really good so far. So I'm on t-shirt number 3, as you can see, which is thanks to our Florida adventure. But what's nice is what we have left is a lot easier to do, except for maybe the back bumper. But we're almost done with the front end. We're gonna work on the doors and these rocker panels, and then this A-pillar, and that all goes, basically the middle of the car is actually really easy, probably the easiest to do, just making sure you get things lined up right, and if you need to stretch in areas, getting it just right. So, gonna wrap up a couple of spots on the front, and then we're gonna turn the car around. Perfect. All right, so we got some overlap here. I'm gonna show you how to take care of that. So especially right here, you see that little bit of overlap. So here's what you're gonna do when you get there. Do not touch the paint. Just gently glide over and let the knife do the work. And you'll see. Just like that.
Found one area where I didn't finish.
There we go.
Done.
Butter.
Yep.
Looking good. And that's how you deal with seams when you overlap too much. This is looking pretty good. I'm gonna let these corners dry out a little bit. Keep putting pressure on them. And just as a reminder, I get this question a lot too about how do you get the emblem? It's pre-cut. So it's cut out of the pattern. You can see it there. So looks good. All right, so we started at 9:30 and it is right now 3:30. So 6 hours later, I've gotten the garage put back together or whatever, and we have PPF on the rear bumper. We have PPF on this whole lift gate. We have PPF on the A-pillar here. And then we also were able to get PPF on the hood, the fenders, the front bumper. So all that I have left are the doors on both sides and this rocker panel that is also part of this fender here. So a little bit more work to do, but it is super hot, and 6 hours. You may have noticed in the video I'm wearing a different t-shirt several times, and that's because I had to keep changing my t-shirt from it getting too heavy from being wet. So it's very, very hot. So I'm gonna take a break for the rest of the day, and tomorrow I'm going to try to finish this off. So we'll see how we do, and hopefully we can wrap this up in just a couple of hours. We did the hardest stuff, no question, today. So the rest of this should be a lot easier. All right, so now it's time to get on with it. We're gonna be doing the side of the car, these two doors, and this rocker panel that turns into this fender. That'll get this entire driver's side done. And then we'll do the same on the passenger side, and the car will be completely wrapped. So 6 hours yesterday, getting the whole front end of the car done and the whole back end of the car done, as well as the A-pillars. So do not forget, clean the inside edges of the doors on the inside and the outside. Clean this lip because you're gonna need to stick some film around this edge. So even though you've already cleaned your car, go over each panel right before you do it with a microfiber, a nice microfiber and alcohol, and you'll see the dirt that you get off. It's really important. Help to reduce the amount of debris that's gonna get caught underneath the film. So with that, I'm gonna start with the rocker panel and the fender first. so now that the PPF is on there, it's time to go through and find all the bubbles like this one where moisture just got trapped. You can't avoid this. It's virtually impossible, maybe not impossible, but very difficult to do this without having a bubble or two. So you're gonna take a very, very thin needle and you're going to actually poke at the bottom of the bubble the best that you can. And once you penetrate that, I'm just gonna start to squeeze that moisture out. So now that's gone, and you can't even see where we poked it. So that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go over the whole car. I've got some bubbles here and there that I'm gonna work on now. All right, so there you have it. That's the full install. The entire car wrapped. It took about 8.5 hours to do this entire car by myself, but here's the thing. The best quote that I got was $5,500, and it was about $5,500 to $8,000 depending on the place. And this Defense Plus product is absolutely better than the 3M that I've used in the past, and it's on par with the Expel that I've used in the past. Now, Expel has moved away from DIY kits, so it's very difficult to get those. Defense Plus is a very good product, and it's got a hydrophobic coating on the exterior, kind of like a ceramic coat, that's going to help repel water. This is the same 10-year product, and it's 8 mil thick, so it's really thick, provides great protection, and it's flexible, and it doesn't seem to have an issue like I had with 3M where you could overstretch the material. This stuff sticks really well. It behaves just like the Expel that I've used in the past. Really happy with this product. So $5,500 to $8,000 to have this done professionally, and at the time of this recording, I believe I spent $2,100 on all the PPF that went over this entire car, and I know it's the same price for the Model Y too. So about $2,000 with code BTG. You can do your car yourself and save literally thousands. If you don't want to do the whole car, I totally understand, but I highly recommend at least trying to do the front end of your Tesla. The front end is where all the action happens on the highway. So if you're on the highway quite a bit, you should really consider this, because you can do just the front end kit for a pretty reasonable price and protect at least front of the car. The reason that it's so different for Teslas is on other cars, there's a big plastic grill in the front of the car that absorbs all the impact of rocks and debris and bugs and all that stuff. On a Tesla, it's a huge flat painted surface. So that is exposed to all those rocks and chips and everything like that. So now I'm going to do the ceramic coating on this car myself as well. So that'll be coming very soon as well. But the car is protected from damage, and with little kids and bikes going in and out of the garage frequently, I'm really happy with having that protection. So I'm less worried about the car and the kids getting in and out and all the things that they throw up against the car. So I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, of course, give it the thumbs up. If you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel as we continue to post content regularly. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram @BeardedTesla. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.